time today, I thought it would be really fun to try and do something like this. This is a spontaneous landscape that I did in my weekly get-together that I have with some friends in town. And I didn't have any tubes of paint. All I had was a credit card, like a piece of a credit card. And I got my pan paints all gooey. And I was able to make this in a couple of different layers. I thought it was really, really fun because I was just discovering how to do something like this. So I thought it would be fun today to try and do that for you guys for Painting Playtime. I did see someone on YouTube use one of these wedges, and I really liked the thought of using the long side for the horizon, and then maybe this shorter side for doing stuff down here. I also have one of these scraper things, Art Advantage scraper. I think I got both of these things on Amazon. I do that. I buy art supplies online and they come and I'm all excited, and then I don't use them. I put them in a drawer and put them away. So I'm getting them out. So stay tuned. We're going to get started. Okay, I have a lot of paint, but I decided on these four: yellow ochre, Cascade green, French ultramarine, and burnt sienna. I'm going to wet the whole paper with clear water. Sometimes spraying it is a little easier to get a lot of water on it in the first place, and then you can scoot it around. This brush and put on a blob of yellow ochre, and now a blob of Cascade green, a blob of French ultramarine. It's not much of a blob because it kind of that's an older tube, so it might be getting dry in the tube. And some burnt sienna. This is like the second time I'm doing this ever. So wish me luck. Okay, now I'm going to choose a spot where I want the horizon to be, which will be down about 1/3 up from the page. And then you take your whatever your edge is, and you're going to go right across and let all that paint touch the paper. And I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to try this way so that I get some burnt sienna on this side. Wow. And now I'm going to spray it with some water. Get it to move. There's a lot of water on here now. There's a little bit of paint still on here, so I'm going to try it again. Maybe right here where it's all wet. It's really wet right here. I'm going to try it again with some yellow ochre, more Cascade green, more blue, and a little more burnt sienna. And this time I'll go in the middle. Oh, that is so pretty. Look at the burnt sienna. Okay, I want it to come down and be a reflection, so I'm going to do it this way. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. This could be background trees in a forest, and this could be a pond. I'm going to kind of water down the pigments and see if that makes them move a little bit easier. Because when I did this in my class, I didn't have straight pigment to use. So I'm going to see, now that it's a watery pigment, I'm going to start here and move it. Ooh. I love to watch it roll down the paper. I'm going to wipe it up and I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to lay that flat. There's a big puddle right here though. I just wanted to tell you that I'm not just laying it flat to dry. I am moving this block back and forth, and you can see how the paint is moving over to the left. And I'm going to rock it to the top of the painting. And you can see the water building up there, and I'm going to make it come down. I'm going to do this until the paint stops moving around like that. If you use Arches blocks, this is a problem that kind of gets to me because this is the second problem with them. I love the paper. It's the best paper in the world. But I do not like this little ridge that appears in the spot where you're supposed to remove the paper. The other problem is the glue on the edge. After a couple of washes, that glue starts to fail. But other than that, it's absolutely awesome paper. I'm starting to lose the brightness of this yellow ochre. This is pretty dry right here. I wanted to get this back. That is so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to let it just dry on its own. Isn't this pretty? I love the granulation and the soft. I couldn't do this if I tried to do it with a paintbrush, painting. I just love it. There are little bits of, there's pure pigment right there, a little clump of it. And there's a little bit over here. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it. I just wanted to point it out. I also recently got these Fumui, or is it Fumui? They call them extended point brushes. I knew them as reservoir brushes. I've seen a few people on Instagram using these plein air, and I thought it would be nice to try it on this. This is the number 10. They come in a 4-pack. Mine came with a 20, a 14, a 4, and this number 10. I have a feeling I'm going to be using this number 10 a lot. It's sort of a medium size, and it's good for this size paper, I think. So I'm going to stick with these 4 colors. And to work on this a little more, I'm just going to add very gently water along the horizon and all the way up. I don't really want to move the pigment. I want it to stay where it is. So I'm barely touching the paper. I don't want to wreck that granulation. It's just so beautiful. And I'm going to use this reservoir brush to add trees. So I'm going to get some of the Cascade green kind of mixed up. I'm a little awkward with this brush, but okay, I'm going to get this water kind of evened out. There's some dry spots. If you have a dry spot, the pigment won't go through it. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit wetter at the horizon. Okay, I'm going to take some of the Cascade green and I'm going to put 3 trees over here. So here is the tallest one. I think this green's a little bright, so I'm going to tamper it down, I think, a little bit with some burnt sienna. I really love this tip on here. You get the fatness of the belly, but then you can just use the tip for some little finer details. I really love this. I'm going to try, I got it just damp and I rinsed it off and just wiped it off on the paper towel so that's just damp now. There's not very much water. Maybe I can tease out a few little. Oh, that is so neat. I really love that. I'm going to blend a little bit of this yellow ochre with the Cascade green so that it isn't quite as bright this time. And I'm going to do one that's a little bit shorter. I like that green. It's not as blue. Cascade green is so pretty because it separates. Look at the effects. I just love this brush. I'm going to add a little burnt sienna to that so that it is not such a different kind of tree. One more tree with more of the yellow ochre. It's a little smaller. I just love this. I think I'm going to use these a lot. Look at the tree. I have never made trees this good. I'm going to do another one right over here. It's a little more damp over here. Look at that. You guys. I am so happy. Now I'm going to just kind of go along the bottom here to soften this. Look at that. I can just move that pigment. I'm going to use the big brush. Okay. I am going to get a little bit of salt. I think just maybe right in here. Just a few little granules, a few little spots. I want this to be wet. I'm going to get this soaked up. And this over here. See how this is dry paper right here? I must not have seen that. It's totally dry. And the paint is not going into it. So pretty. I'm just having fun. I'm going to add a few little droplets. And let that dry. I did wet the bottom, and since it's already wet, I could start working on the reflections. So this is actually not that wet. This is pretty good right here. I'm going to leave that. I may add just a little bit of green to that. Okay. So the reflection is the mirror image. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my 8 for this. Get some French Ultramarine in here for this one. And then just a little bit of green in there. Look what the salt's doing. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I hope that you try this. Little blue here. I'm going to add a little salt in the water. A few little granules, so that maybe it will look like it's sparkling. Look at that! I'm so happy. Get this little petal. Didn't get dry, didn't get wet right there. Okay, I mixed up some French Ultramarine and some yellow ochre into this petal. And in this petal, I mixed some French Ultramarine and some burnt sienna. And I thought I needed to do some more on the reflections because there isn't enough contrast down here. And I don't have any hard lines yet. So what I want to do is maybe create some smaller trees that are closer to the viewer here in the front, do their reflections down here, and then see where we go from there. So I'm going to use my smaller extended point brush, my number 4, to make the smaller trees. And I'm going to use this color and just sort of, it's not doing anything. Can you see that? Okay, I kind of can. Okay, I'm going to grab some of this and put in that. That made a really nice gray. I just don't have enough green. I'm going to get a little more Cascade green if I can get this lid off. Kind of ran out of green. Add that to this. And add a little bit of the yellow ochre to tone it down a little bit. There, now I can do this. I'll do another one, maybe darken it a little, kind of over here. The dabbing with this thing is unreal. You just, like that, make a V. And you have a tree. I love it. Put a little one over here. I'm going to put a little bit of this as a little suggestion of a trunk. I think I could probably put one. I like there to be an odd number, so I'm going to just put one. I'm going to put 2 little ones over here. There's my V, 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 and then just sort of roll it. Let there be some space. This is amazing. Where have these been all my life? And another one, I think, right up there. Make your V, roll it. These are really incredible. I got them on sale for $31.99. It was an ad on Facebook. Fumui.com. I'm not sponsored. I don't get anything, but I've been wanting these for a while, and when I saw they were on sale, I just had to do it. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, so I think I'm going to leave that alone. I really like that effect. I like that there's a little bit of open space in here. Maybe I'll put a few little aspen trees, and I could probably use this for the aspen trees. Okay, I'm going to just go for it. I'm not going to act like this is precious. I'm just playing, just seeing what happens. Okay, it's not doing anything. I did a little bit there. It's good for trunks to suggest a little bit of a trunk there. That's nice. Art Advantage scraper thing. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do what I did in my class. We improvised. I used a palette knife, and I don't know if that's going to work on arches. I think I'm going to grab a knife. Okay, this will probably work. So I'm just going to say, like, way back here, there are a few little aspen trees. Coming up from behind this tree. A tall one. Put a tall one right here. And the way the knife skips kind of mimics the bark of an aspen tree. I'm going to put one here. One back here. The knife really works the best. Put some little branches. Another way to do some trunks is to just kind of wipe some off. Do a little branch. I was afraid this one was going to look a little overworked because I went over it when I shouldn't have. Kind of like the effect. This one's way back there in the distance. Just let it stay back there. And then here, one little branch, little trunk. You guys, this is really fun. It doesn't even matter to me right now how it comes out. I just think this is really fun. Okay, now I'm going to turn it upside down and do the little trees in the reflection. I'm going to add that yellow. Maybe a little of the gray, some water. I don't want it to be as dark because it's being reflected. So a mirror image, do my V's. And I'm going to tap a little water in it. Okay, another mirror image. This one is taller. They are touching. I'm going to put a little water in that one. Okay. And now this one is pretty small. Add a little more pigment to that. Add a little droplet. Okay, now over here. And then here, add a little yellow to this one. Add a little yellow to this one too. A little more green. And some drops. I think this one needs a little breaking up. You can just use the tip of your reservoir brush. Okay, I got to put the reflections of the trees in. This tree is about the same height. And this one, and this one's up here. This one, I think the problem is this paper is a little damp. This is hard to do on damp paper. And all I'm going to do now is add a few little birds. And I'm going to try them with this little brush. I have the number 4. And I'm going to hold it way back here. And I'm going to do some little flicks here. Here's one bird. We don't want them all to be V's in the sky. So I'm going to have one with a body. And then another one that's far away. It looks like an M. Dab them, and they look farther away. And I'm going to add a few little droplets, and I'm going to wipe them off. I always think that works so well. Wipe them up. I think I need a little bit on this one. A little bit in the reflections. Makes it a little bit dreamy. I am going to say that this is done. I don't want to overwork it. I did a lot of practice on this and a lot of discovering. Compare this one on arches to this one I did in a Be Creative. Let me show you what it is. It's Be paper. It's a Be Creative watercolor journal. These are my own stickers. The paper in it is a lot smoother. It is cold press, 100% cotton paper, but it doesn't really have much texture. It's more like a hot press, but not as unforgiving as a hot press. This has a lot more texture in a cold pressed, and you can tell with all the granulation that happened, the different effects that you get. Okay, now I want to take a little bit of the pigment out of the water. I want to show that it's sparkling and ripply, so I'm going to use my flat brush and just go along like that. And take some of the pigment out. I'm going to go right up on the tip of the brush. So the water looks more like water. And then you can also take your knife and go along and make it sparkly. Again, better done on dry paper. And that is it for today. I thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Have a great day.